Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, what I'm about to say is probably not going to be liked by some people. That's just how it is. I mean, you can't please everyone, and I certainly don't try to. But I have been known a time or two to kind of put my hip waders on and step in it because I there's just something about me that I can't stand. I want to speak the truth. And it's not just my truth or your truth or someone else's truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's facts. And far too many times when things like what's happening now in the world go on, the truth, facts, kind of get overlooked. And I don't know. It's just an itch in me that sometimes I have to scratch. You know, a person can be opposed to both sides of something at the same time. Just because you're opposed to one side of something doesn't mean that you agree with the other side. You can be opposed to both. We saw that, and we've seen this happen with Ukraine and Russia. You know, if you speak out and say that you don't support Ukraine, people just automatically think that you support Russia, and vice versa. You can also support a cause and not agree with how the cause is being done. You can say, you know, I support that movement, but the way it's being handled is wrong. We can criticize that. You know, we're told that, you know, you have to have a dog in the fight to be able to criticize something. Well, we all kind of have a dog in the fight, regardless of what your position is. And I'm speaking of a lot of things, because most things that are happening on the world stage today somehow involve your tax dollars, your sovereignty, even your life. It jeopardizes a lot of things. So I think that we all have a right to speak out and speak our mind, but we also have a duty to speak the truth. And the truth is that what is happening, whether it's the Middle East or Eastern Europe or South Asian Sea or any places like that, I believe it's all being done for a purpose to push us further down the field to the goal of a new world order. You see, it's interesting if you think back over the last few years of how people have been hyped up to fear or to get on the bandwagon of a certain thing. You know, it was the COVID lockdown. COVID, it's terrifying, it's bad. We all got to jump on that. And it was, you know, Black Lives Matter and, you know, I can't breathe. Oh, we got it. That was terrifying. You was either one side of it, so divisive, one side or the other. And then the whole pokey poke thing come around. More divisiveness. You know, you either got it or you don't. If you don't get it, you can't be with our family. If you got it, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore because you might give me some kind of, you know, creepy morphine, you know, mutant disease. Then Ukraine happened. More divisiveness. You either on this side, you wave this flag or you wave this flag. You have to support one or the other. You can't just be in the middle ground on this. And then now we're to another thing. I think just the keeping everyone into a hyper state of fear and emotion all the time is part of the plan. You can look at statistics and polling over the last few years, and just about the time when they start to say, people are losing interest in this, something else happens. In the last several weeks, we've heard little snippets here and there about how people are losing interest in Ukraine. Even people that were supportive of Ukraine, they've lost interest in it. Some people don't want to send any money over there anymore. Some people are just tired of it. You know, we're not seeing as much blue and yellow flags flying anymore or online. And so people have lost interest. And so now there's another thing to get people to buy into it. Saying all this doesn't mean that I support or don't support a side. You know, I can talk about this all the time without getting into what I support. And I've said it on here and I've made it clear in the last few days. I support my allegiances lie to my faith in God and Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, and my allegiances lie to my family and to my tribe. I don't want to see these horrible things happen. We have seen as an American people in the last 7 to 9 days probably more horrific things than we've ever seen in American history, unless you've been directly on battlefields. And even then, the graphic nature of stuff being spread around is maybe the worst ever. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. And while there are innocents on both sides, there are also guilty parties on both sides. And I think it's all being done to divide us even further, to get us into to keep us into a hyper emotional stage, to where we're not really paying attention who the real enemies are. We're not really paying attention to what's really being done. We're just constantly in fear and in panic and in hatred because some bad guy is doing something to some weak person. That's all being done for a purpose, folks. And at this point, it's not necessarily about who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. It's who's the one that's pulling all the strings. And a lot of times the people that's pulling the strings are pulling the strings on both sides, funding both sides, and behind closed doors causing both sides to do what they do. And I think there's a lot of that in this situation. I'm not saying that in any ways what Hamas has done is right in any way possible. But I'm pretty sure that behind closed doors, there's parties that are kind of encouraging all of this because in the end, it fits with a plan to get us further down the road of where they want us to be, which is number one, constantly in fear. Number two, because we're in fear, we're constantly seeking these overlords for our safety. We look to them for our salvation, right? Oh, we need the government. We need more spending. I know we're drowning in debt, but my goodness, we still got to spend money because of this thing. Well, who benefits from that? It's not you or I, and a lot of times it's not even the people on either side that's fighting the wars. It's the people at the top of the food chain. They're benefiting. The people that are losing are all of us on both sides. Because we're losing our wealth, we're losing our freedoms, we're losing our morality, we're losing our humanity, and in the end, we're hating each other. That's it. What we end up doing is hating each other, all because people have bought whatever lie has been spread, and maybe they've acted on it. We have to be careful and alert and aware because like many things that I've explained to you in the past, there are psychological operations being played on us every day, folks. Every day. We're at the point now we don't even know what's real and what's not. The technology has advanced so far that even a picture or a video for evidence, we can't even 100% know that it's true. I mean, take for instance these 40 babies. At this point, I don't know that anyone can absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, confirm what really happened. We don't know. We probably never will. And there's more and more of that stuff happening and more of it on the way. It's going to get down to the point that the only thing that you can know and trust and believe in is, well, your little circle, the people that you have real physical contact with, those ones that's in your own tribe, in your circle. And that's why I say that's where you need to really put your energy and your efforts into. Because all of this stuff on the global stage, it's all a big game. It's a big game to them. And it's interesting how just one thing after another happens. And people forget, they lose interest. I mean, I've said it before. Ohio train wreck. Oh my goodness, the whole world watched that for a couple of weeks. The whole world was just on the verge of panic and fear, and people are going to die, and people are going to rise up, and all of these questions, and now, well, nothing's happened about it. What about Maui? All the thousands of people that were missing. What happened to that? Are they still missing? Who knows? No one really knows what the truth happens. And there's still a lot of victims there that are struggling to kind of get their life back in order. But no one cares anymore because the news has moved on and their 5 minutes of fame is over. This is going to continue to happen, folks. I think this is really how the end works. It's not like a Hollywood movie where it's all normal and then you wake up one day and there's a massive earthquake and the roads split open and the earth is falling in on itself. It's not like that. Or you wake up one day and a big asteroid is coming at us. Or you wake up one day and an alien ship lands on us. Or you wake up one day and nukes are... I think what we're seeing happen is, for the most part, how it all ends. At some point, there could be some falling off the cliff stage where things just rapidly progress and it's almost an overnight, intensity. But I think for the most part, it's just going to be more and more of this wearing us down, draining us physically, draining us emotionally, draining us spiritually, draining us economically, everything wearing us down until someday it'll just be declared that because of all of these things, we have to come together under one big global union. Unite our currencies, unite our government, unite our religion, unite our militaries under one big banner, because everything is terrifying all the time, folks. Think about it. For years, it's been one thing after another. We have to unite. We have to unite under this one world order. That's kind of how I think it's going to work. Doesn't mean it will, but that's just my opinion. We have to be guarded against this. It doesn't mean that the things that happen or that will happen don't affect us. They certainly do. They may affect our loved ones. They may affect various things that kind of hurt us in here or that shake us up. But regardless of what happens, we have to be aware of it. We have to understand that this is just dividing us further. It's weakening us. And in the end, that's their goal, is to weaken us. Be aware of this, folks. Fight back against it. No, I'm not talking about fighting back with sticks and stones and bullets and guns. I'm talking about fight back against it psychologically. Don't allow it to bring you down. Don't allow it to destroy your spirit, because that's what they're trying to do. And if it costs thousands of Israelis and thousands of Palestinians, or thousands of Ukrainians and thousands of Russians, or thousands of Americans and thousands of Chinese, they don't care. They don't care. And we have to realize that. In the end, the enemy isn't Russia or China or Hamas or Israel or Ukraine or the United States or any of that. The enemy is this evil, satanic parasites that think that they're at the top of the food chain, and they're kind of pulling all the strings. They're the ones creating this beast system so that someday this beast will reign over us. They're the enemy. We have to remember that. Yeah, there's a lot of evil people out there. There's evil people right around me, just like there are right around you. And of course, we need to be aware of that. And we need to plan accordingly to that, how to defend ourselves, how to guard ourselves for it, how to make sure that doesn't infiltrate our little tribes and our circles. But also realize who the real enemy is and who the author of confusion is. Because that's what's happening. Maybe this is all going according to plan, but the people and the person or the entity that's running all of this, really on both sides, isn't the good guy. We have to be prepared, folks, because more and more of this is going to happen. The United States could get involved in the Middle East, and if not, probably involved in Asia, and if not, probably involved in Europe somewhere. The odds of our involvement as Americans more into this, and the sacrifices that we will have to make, and the things that will come against us physically, mentally, and spiritually are increasing. And that's why we have to keep getting prepared. That's why you have to keep getting on your knees in prayer more and more. That's why you have to keep stocking up more and more. That's why you have to keep building tribe more and more. That's why you have to get your mind in a place that you can tolerate the abuse that's going to come at you, the attacks, the mental attacks, the confusion, the things that will challenge you, because it's going to keep happening. It's not going to stop. It's not the best of times, I know. Old Travis, he's the old doomsdayer, spreading all the fear. No, I'm trying to help you to see that while there are real things out there happening, and real people getting hurt, and real sides to this, in the end, there is a greater evil that is orchestrating it all. And that's the evil that we should be aware of, and that's the evil that we should be pushing back against. You need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.